MS Ramaya University of Applied Sciences.
Hello students, let us have a discussion on verification of superposition theorem. The objectives of this laboratory experiment are to verify superposition theorem to the analysis of electrical circuits. The superposition principle states that the voltage across or current through an element in a linear circuit is the algebraic sum of the voltages across or currents through that element due to each independent source acting alone. Steps to apply superposition theorem. First, turn off all independent sources except one source. Second, find the output, voltage or current due to that active source using network analysis. Turn off voltages sources which is equivalent to short the voltage sources. Turn off current sources which is equivalent to make current source zero current. Third, repeat step 1 for each of the other independent sources. Fourth, find the total contribution by adding algebraically all the contributions due to the independent sources. To verify this experiment, we need breadboard, digital multimeter, resistors, dual regulated power supplies and connecting wires. Construct the given circuit on the breadboard. Choose appropriate resistors and measure their values using the digital multimeter. Now, fix digital multimeter on the MA in DC range and connect in series with the resistors on the breadboard to measure current flowing through each resistor. Now, apply both voltage sources to set a particular value by using RPS1 and RPS2. Now measure and record the currents flowing through the resistor 1 kilo ohm. Set the value of RPS1 to 0 volts and RPS2 to a particular value and measure the current flowing through the resistor 1 kilo ohm. Now, set the value of RPS1 to a particular value and RPS2 to a 0 volt and measure the current flowing through the resistor 1 kilo ohm. Superimpose the current and verify. Superposition theorem has been verified.
Hello students, in this video session we are performing experiment verification of superposition theorem. Components required to perform this experiments are regulated dual power supply. This is regulated DC power supply. There are two channels, channel 1 and channel 2. You can take two outputs at a time. Either one of the output can be used as per our requirement. This is voltage knobs and this is current knobs. Voltage knob should be at minimum position before turning on and current knob should be at maximum position before turning on. This is main power supply switch to turn on the DC regulated power supply. Multimeter. This is multimeter. Multimeter is a device used to measure various quantities. Using multimeter we can measure continuity of the circuit, resistance value ranging from 200 ohms to 200 mega ohms. We can measure DC voltages, AC voltages, AC current and DC current and also measure the value of capacitance using this meter. This is common terminal. The black knob has to always be put into the common point. If we are measuring AC voltages or DC voltages, the red knob has to be put in V position. If we are measuring AC current or DC current in few milliamps, this red knob has to be put in milliamps position. If we are measuring AC current or DC current in terms of few amps, this red knob has to be put in 10 amp position. Resistor. These are the resistor used to perform this experiment. There are two values of resistor that are used in this experiment. There are two 1.5 kilo ohm resistor and one 1 kilo ohm resistor. The value of this resistor can either be found out using color coding or multimeter. Breadboard. This is breadboard on which the circuit will be built and the experiment will be conducted. And connecting wires. These are connecting wires used to connect the circuit to the power supply. Now let's start performing experiment by building the circuit for verification of superposition theorem. Let us split up the experiment into three parts. In first part, both the sources will be acting. In second part, V1 will be acting and V2 will be short circuited. In third part, V2 will be acting and V1 will be short circuited. Let's start the first part of the experiment based on the circuit diagram. Let's start conduction of experiment by connecting the circuit using breadboard. Let us connect 1.5 kilo ohm resistor to the breadboard first. Now let us connect second 1.5 kilo ohm resistor in series with the previous 1.5 kilo ohm resistor. Now let us connect 1 kilo ohm resistor in parallel with both the resistors. Now using connecting wires, let us give supply to the circuit from the source. One from first end of the 1.5 kilo ohm resistor to the positive supply of channel 1 and from ground point to the negative terminal of the channel 1. Similarly, we will connect it to the channel 2 from ground terminal to the negative terminal of channel 2 and from second terminal of 1.5 kilo ohm resistor to the positive terminal of the channel 2. Now let us start the performance of experiment. To perform this experiment, we need to set voltage in channel 1 to 10 volts as per circuit diagram and 15 volts in channel 2 as per circuit diagram, and take the value of current through each resistors using multimeter. Now let us turn on the power supply. Make sure voltage knobs are in minimum position and current knob is in maximum position. Now let us turn on the supply. Set 10 volts in channel 1. And 15 volts in channel 2. Now let us start measuring the current flowing through all the resistor. Let us measure current flowing through resistor R1. The value of I1 is 1.87 milliamps. Now let us measure current flowing through resistor R2. The value of I2 is 7.13 milliamps. Now let us measure current flowing through R3, that is I3. The value is 5.27 milliamps. This completes first part of the experiment. Now we need to remove source V2, that is we will turn off channel V1 and short circuit the terminals. We are removing channel 2 voltage and using connecting wires we will short the terminal. The circuit is built as per circuit diagram 2. Now let us start measuring the current flowing through each resistors again. Let us measure current flowing through resistor R1. The value of I1 is 4.72 milliamps. Current flowing through resistor R2 is 2.84 milliamps. And current flowing through R3, that is I3, is 1.88 milliamps. Now this completes second part of the experiment. Now let us start building the circuit for third part of the experiment as per circuit diagram, according to which we will turn off 10 volt power supply and short the terminals. The circuit is built as per circuit diagram. Let us fix the channel 2 voltage to 15 volts. And now let us measure current flowing through each resistor. So current flowing through resistor R3 is 7.14 milliamps. Current flowing through resistor R2 is 4.28 milliamps. Current flowing through resistor R1 is 2.83 milliamps. This completes conduction of third part of the experiment also. This completes conduction of superposition theorem. We have tabulated values of current I1, I2 and I3 when both the sources are acting. When single sources are acting, that is when V1 is acting alone and V2 is acting alone. From the tabulated value, we can verify the superposition theorem.
At MSR UAS, we spark your imagination unlike any other.